No, I don't. Okay, hi. This is recording on my phone from this app, Go Record or whatever. Okay. Let me show you the places in Los Angeles that I might live. Nobody's going to see this in LA and buy it before I will, probably. It's too little views for anyone to buy it before I do. I'm kind of supposed to keep it quiet, but maybe I'm not. I'll just show you. Here's a house. Okay, let me show you where LA is. This is Los Angeles. Los Angeles, the Angels. They're pretty good there. It's not at all like Babylon, like that song Hollywood Babylon. It's not at all that way. Everyone was kind there when I was there. The only time anyone was mean there, I was there from 1997 to 2005. Went to all this school and worked on films. I made my own films and stuff. I made a real movie there. But I had to come back home to edit it, and we started a family. That was really good. But so here's Los Angeles. What are you doing, you fly? You mother little bastard. No. Okay, Los Angeles. I'm in my car as these guys paint my house. I own a mansion, actually. I'm not living in a car or something like that. What Britney Spears did to get to where she is now. She had to at one time sleep in her car and live in her car with her mom. And her mom was there for her until she finally made it. Now, okay, and, man. So here's some homes for sale. The barrio East Los Angeles. Barrio East Los Angeles. We're back to ancestors Native American, Mexico. Yeah, see. Now we're in East Los Angeles. Say, how are you doing here? Somebody talks like this. Somebody talk like this. Danny Trejo. No. There's a problem with my dad. I just realized when I said Danny Trejo. I hope to God he's okay. Here's the house that's within commuting distance, but I was going to show you something else. Los Angeles, the Angels. Everyone was good there until I went to this new kind of cool. They're trying to make that. Like, it's like famous people live there now. It's like kind of like the Hollywood Hills, kind of like Beverly Hills, and where the Fresh Prince lived, Bel Air. I think Bel Air is here. I'll show you where. Wait, Bel Air I think is in here. Here's Bel Air. And that's where my friend Justin lives. He has a 4-bedroom house, brand new stuff, the most new stuff that they don't even have in most houses on Earth. That, most any house on Earth. He has this stuff that's so cool, like a $20,000 grand piano or $40,000. I don't know how much it was. He had the best of stuff. Like his dad and mom owned all these apartments, and he's one of my best friends. But he's just a friend, and he lives in Bel Air. He's a music producer. He's really a genius at making music, at producing it. But what he does is he does it for other artists. He lets them get all the try to get the attention as an artist and stuff, and he produces it for them. And he did some stuff for like American Idol Germany and probably a bunch of other famous stuff here and there, like kind of famous stuff, but he's not famous. He only gets paid like, I don't know, 100,000 to 200 or 300,000 a year, maybe 200,000 a year. And his mom and dad helped him buy the house, or he wouldn't have been able to afford it. It's like a 4-bedroom, everything brand new, the coolest new stuff in Bel Air. It's like a rich place. It must be $2 million, $1.8 million to $3 million or something like that. Maybe $1.7 million. And he owns a house in there. It might be worth $4 million, $3 million or something. And we went to film school with him. He was one of my friends in film school. And besides Danica, he was our best friend, but he was just a friend. I met Danica and married Danica. He's a good friend. And Danica's my wife, or was my wife. I don't know if we're still married or not, but she's way more special. And he was my closest friend there besides her. And he's pretty good. And he's like me. He's a bunch like me. Like, we looked a little bit the same. He's Jewish. And he looks really cool now. And he looks young for his age. He's in his early 40s. I think he's 2 years younger than me. I don't know. And he went to my school, LMU, and then I think he went back to UCLA, or was at UCLA for something different, like English or something. And he's my friend, and he's the only person I know who is as good at films, video, and music as I am. Like, actually doing it all myself, actually being able to do all the work myself. And he's the only one who knows how to do that stuff as well as I do. He's the only one I know who knows how to, who's like a genius at it, but he knows how to do both film and music. And he's good at both of them. And he does it himself. He's not like Steven Spielberg, who hires other people and does it at a huge level and is really good at it. But, we're really good at that stuff too. But Steven Spielberg wouldn't know how to, and this is Bel Air. That's a rich neighborhood. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. That's where he moved, that rich neighborhood where he went to live with his auntie and uncle or whatever. And so, here's Beverly Hills. I don't know if I know anybody who lives in there, but I'd like to stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel one time, or many times, and I think I might start, when I make more money, I want to go there here and there. And I had a dream about pulling up in a Ferrari, and a red Ferrari, and Tom Cruise is there, my friend Nathan, but my friend Nathan has 2 Ferraris, or did, and he has 2 Porsches. He had 2 Porsches and 2 Ferraris. And before that, he had a 68 Camaro. It was my dream car, and he got it before I did. Then I wanted a Ferrari. He found out, and he got a Ferraris. And he lives down here. He's my age, too, but he's from Roanoke. They used to own... He's not that rich. They're old Ferraris. He just works on them and stuff and made them, like he bought them for cheap. Like one of them he got for $20,000. And he's German, so he has 2 Porsches, or had them, but I'm not German, so I don't want a Porsche. I'm just not German, and I don't really want one because I'm not German. I'd rather have a Ferrari, but he got the Ferraris, and I guess it made sense because his dad owned this. His dad started an Italian restaurant that's kind of famous in Roanoke. It's locally a known restaurant, and he lives, I think, all the way down here. Here he lives way down here in Newport Beach. He has a really nice house. He bought it for cheap. Because he works at Vans, and he's really high ranked or he has a good job at Vans. He's the head of, I think, all the design. He's the head of design of everything at Vans, like the shoes, the logos, everything. He's head of design, and that's really cool. I think it's amazing that he did that, because his dream in Roanoke, back here in Roanoke, it was I still talk to him. Like, I just talked to him on Instagram. He is one of my best friends, and he was from Roanoke, and this is Virginia, where I am now. I can show you. I'm in the woods while they paint my house, and those are two of like my most successful friends my age. Maybe there are other ones. There's my friend Stefan in Roanoke. He's kind of successful. He was like vice president of a big thing in Roanoke, and he has a pretty nice house. But he, it's just, I don't want to work at that stuff here. I want to work, of course. I want to work. Oh, I'm eager to work at all those things that have nothing to do with my best abilities. My mom and dad think that I have to like be willing to work at anything and just make money for the sake of it, and they think that's how it is. But you can't take someone who's really good at something like Steven Spielberg and try to say, oh, you have to work at real estate instead. He wouldn't have done crap with it. He would have had, maybe he'd have like $3 million. He wouldn't be as happy if he didn't get to be a filmmaker. He has a special gift from God to be a filmmaker. He has a special gift from God to be a filmmaker. Just get out of there, you fly. That was for you to leave. Get the fuck out of here, you fly, or I'll kill you. Okay, but anyway, there's no buts about it. I have a special ability from God to edit. I met my wife. God brought me together with my wife in the editing room. She's not my wife anymore, I think. I don't know. And I met her in California, and we both had to go out there. I was 19, she was 20. She was from Texas. And now I'm going to get her to live in Los Angeles with me and the kids. So here's around Los Angeles. There was East LA. East LA. That's like Cheech and Chong, born in East LA. And East LA, that's a neighborhood you probably don't want to live in unless you're already, they call them Chicano. You probably don't want to live there, because I drove in there one time and it's kind of a bad neighborhood. I thought I just wouldn't live there. I think it's a little dangerous, but so I wouldn't live there, and I wouldn't live this is only for, I wouldn't live in Inglewood, and I wouldn't live in Compton or anywhere like around there, like right in that general area. But I used to go to school in Marina Del Rey. Here's Marina Del Rey at LMU. If I can find LMU. I think it was on Lincoln Boulevard. I don't remember. And there's Venice Beach. And here's where I stayed. Well, at first I tried to live in Inglewood, and it was awful. I didn't know it was a bad neighborhood. I had a new carpet. It was sunny, and I thought I was going to move in. And then they had all these gangsters and stuff at night. These really big, strong, young black men. I've never seen anyone like them. Like, it was like they had like a superpower to be really strong and athletic, and they were like way in their prime. And there were like 20 or 30 of them outside of my apartment waiting at night. I don't know what they're doing, and I couldn't even go in my apartment where I lived and had to hide. And it was pretty weird. I have a video on it. If you look up Inglewood, white boy, Inglewood, John Birmingham, Inglewood, I have a video talking about it. And I just didn't know my way around back there. So you don't want to live there if you're white, unless you're black or a minority. They probably wouldn't do anything wrong to you at all. They probably wouldn't do anything wrong to you if you lived in Inglewood or Compton. Especially if you're black, I think it's safe for them. They have like old men who own homes there, and they're like, oh, just mowing the lawn, and it's regular. And they don't hurt them or do anything bad to them. I think, but I don't know. If you're raised in a white suburban area and think you would fit right in here and not get hurt, I don't know. You may not fit in. I don't know. I hoped you would fit in. And they didn't do anything wrong to black people or Mexicans or Latino. I don't know about other people like Indian or stuff like that. And I had to pretend that I was maybe Mexican just so that I wouldn't get hurt. But it was scary, and I was too white, and I wasn't really supposed to be there. They're like, what? And so then I left, and I made it out somehow, and I went to it wasn't that bad. But it was, I never had to live there again. I lived in all these other neighborhoods. Once I met Danica, I left there and lived on campus at LMU, but she went to Santa Monica College. She liked Santa Monica, and I liked Venice. I liked Venice because, like, that was where Jim Morrison made it. That was where he lived and made it from Venice Beach. And that's why I liked it. And also later in the 70s, Arnold Schwarzenegger worked out there at Muscle Beach and stuff. But that's not really why I liked it. But that's cool too. Makes it so it's not as like liberal who gets killed early or something, like how Jim Morrison was. But and I don't know, but that's awful. Many liberals live to be 100 or so, and there's no such thing as a Republican or a liberal. But it's not it's not really important. It doesn't even mean anything really. It's just they try to get people to take sides with that and get angry and act like they're more Republican or liberal than they are. But really, it's about God and Jesus. It's about God and Jesus. That's what everything's really about. Everything is about God and Jesus. And you can learn more about it by reading the Bible. And she liked Santa Monica. And they had a pier there. And there's something about it. I think this is the pier. I think they have a weird map of it. It's amazing. It's not weird. It's kind of cool. And it has I could show you on a better Google Earth map of this. This is the map on homes.com, because I was going to show you the homes I was looking for. And I never fit in with them in Inglewood. Like, I didn't talk their ways or anything like that. I just didn't talk to really any of them. If I did, I just talked like myself and just went in there and stayed in my apartment at night and went to school and that's all that I would do. And it was the only place I could afford by myself. I liked having privacy. I didn't like living with roommates. It was $400 a month in about 1999, I think. And so she went to school at Santa Monica College when she first got to LA. And that's where Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's his alma mater is Santa Monica College. It's just a community college. And I think he has honorary degrees or whatever. And then she transferred. Of course, she transferred, but some people only get a, community college. Also, Clint Eastwood went to LA City College. LA City College, it's another community college. That's the one he went to. He didn't go to any 4-year schools after that, I think. I don't know. He may have. He went to LA City College, and I took a class or two there. And that's how I learned how to make my my actor release contracts that I use the most. This line producer there who produced some kind of big movies and stuff. And he was my teacher, Bruce Cook. I don't know, but I use other ones. I shouldn't even mention his name, but he's kind of nice. I don't know if I, just so I have the rights to use the contracts that I used, but he showed us how to use the contracts in there for actor release forms and crew contracts and stuff. And so, but that's LA City College. I was trying to look where it is, and there are other colleges in there. There are some other schools. I went to UCLA. I sat in the classes there like a student at UCLA Film School, but I didn't get accepted. And I watched some movies in there. That's in Westwood. UCLA. They only let 20 film students in a year, I think, or about that many in their grad department. And so I found another school. I went to the Getty Center. That's a famous place, the Getty Center. It's like this famous place in LA. It has a dome on it, and and that's down in Orange County. And I live with my friend Nathan. He's the one who's the designer at Vans Shoes, the head of design of all Vans Shoes. He used to be just a designer, now he's head of design. So that's pretty cool. He lives in Newport Beach, and he used to live in Long Beach. And I lived at in their apartment, in him and his wife's apartment, in the corner of their 1-bedroom apartment. It was so lack of privacy. It was like, it made me so nervous. And I had to drive all the way here to Orange to go to my film school to save money, because it was only $200 to pay him to let me stay in the corner of their place. And then I had to commute all the way up here to LA. And I'm seeing if it, yeah, it was 3 hour. It was a 3-hour drive. So I can't live at this place I thought I was going to live. Because, like, look at the distance between Long Beach down here and up here at Universal Studios, which is around Burbank. I had an internship, and it took me 3 hours there and 3 hours back drive. And I think 1 other hour from Long Beach to Orange for my film school. And it was 7 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week of that, just the drive and a full-time internship. And it was too much. And I started having panic attacks. My body started almost shutting down. I had chest pains. I was working 3 jobs, like the equivalent of 3 jobs. And it was to get, and I had a scholarship to the film school. It's one of the best film schools there is, Chapman University. It's like the number 5 or 6 film school. Some rate it number 4. You know, it's right up there with UCLA, USC, and NYU. And the other one's AFI. There's another one that's AFI, but mine was like rated 4 before. I think before AFI in some places. I don't know, but I don't know if that's. I know that it was rated number 4. I think by some places, but the Hollywood Reporter rates it, I think, 5 or 6. And so it was a bunch of work. And then, so once I met Danica, I didn't have to live in the shitty ass ghetto anymore, because she like got more money from her mom and dad to live in like better places. And I felt so wrong about doing that when I was in California to go to school. So I'd try to save my parents' money. I'd live in these shitty ass, crazy ass places, or like downtown Los Angeles. Don't ever live in downtown Los Angeles. It's just, it's kind of the ghetto. That's where, let me go to Google Earth. I'm a man. I'm 45 years old. I'm not some teenager pretending to be a teenager. But when I was young, it was cheap rent. And I'm still young now. You can be young when you're 70-something, maybe. So here's Los Angeles on Google Earth. Don't ever live in downtown. It's just, they have bums and crap there. Unless they get rid of that stuff. Here's California State University. That's a different one. I may have been that's where Steven Spielberg went, California State University. And he got a degree or dropped out early or something. But that's not as hard as to get into. That was a cheaper one. But I went to a private school, and one of them I got a scholarship. There's Riverside. That's where like the motocross people and like Red Bull or something like that. I don't know, stuff. There's motocross stuff there in Orange County. That's where they live. They're usually not as much in LA. Skateboarding's in Los Angeles, Long Beach, down at Vans, wherever Vans is. I'm thinking Orange, I don't know. And so let me show you downtown how shitty it looks. Like, that's gonna be fun. I finally found the place you can zoom in on everything and see West Covina. No, that's not what it is. Baldwin Park, West Covina. I remember hearing all these places on the news when they were saying what the weather's like. Monterey Park, Montebello, Whittier, Downey. It's huge. When you fly into LA, say like you're coming from the East Coast, it's huge. It's a huge city that goes on and on and on as you fly over in a plane of all this city stuff, all these houses. Like when you're flying past it, here's what it looks like. I mean, this is like there are mountains, you're flying into LA and you start seeing all these houses. You fly past them, but it's not as big of a city. It's not like all it's not all in one small place like New York is. Like they have all those like big city in New York, but here, like see that's like almost open fields and stuff right in LA. And they have woods there, and it's more flat. They don't have big skyscrapers as that. They have some, but that's in downtown. I didn't like going to downtown because they have bums and it's a little dangerous there. And I didn't like going there as much because I had to live there one time, and it was scary with bums and stuff and crackheads and stuff and who knows what. So I didn't like it as much, but I lived there when I was poor. It was only $300 or $310 a month. And so this is, you're flying past all this stuff, and it just doesn't stop. And look, this is super zoomed out, and it's still flying past all this stuff, and then it's like there's so much city. It's like and then it flies into here, and this is Los Angeles. It's huge. It's kind of huge. And here's LAX. When you fly in, it's right near Venice Beach. You can just drive right near Venice Beach and Marina Del Rey. I used to like Marina Del Rey and Venice Beach, and there was a place, Playa. That was in Roanoke. This guy had a license plate, the Playa. But Playa del Rey is where we lived, me and Danica, in our little apartment, and it was like a few blocks down from the beach. I don't know. I think it's here. I think this is Playa del Rey. It was like really close to the airport, and there's hardly any people around usually, and you could just drive without any traffic usually, and it was really amazing. And I lived like here in from the beach, but I never went to that beach. Danica didn't like to go to the beach, so we just didn't really go to the beach. And I never surfed. I never even surfed one time. The whole time I was there in LA for 7.5 years. For some reason, I tried to one time with an old surfboard, and it was waterlogged, and it just didn't work. It was a little old surfboard, and I couldn't stand up on it. That was the only time I tried. And like, I was right from Virginia and showed up there and tried to get an old surfboard for like $20 or something, or I don't know. And I was with my friend Jevin or somebody else, and they had a surfboard, and we were walking around looking like these really cool they thought we were really cool surfers who knew what we were doing. And I didn't know anything. I was like skinny, and I took my shirt off and was in good shape. And this guy from California or LA said, "Hey, where are you going to surf?" And he was like, but he wasn't a gay person at all. He was a nice, regular, kind man. He was like probably in his 40s or something, 40s. To us, that was so old. And he's probably like 48 or something, 40s. And I said, Maui. And he thought I was he thought I was joking with him and pretending, because I was so cool, like I was just joking, and he got afraid. He got afraid of me because he thought, oh yeah, because he knew the area really well, and he didn't, he thought we were these cool new surfers who were just joking with him or something. And I didn't know how cool I was or looked. I just was like, I thought I was so ugly. I thought girls wouldn't like, not ugly. I never actually said the word ugly, but like not as good looking I thought I didn't have the looks. And then Maui was in Hawaii. I didn't even know where it was. Maui's in Hawaii. I was trying to say Malibu, but I didn't remember what Malibu was called. So I called it Maui. I said, I guess Maui or something like that. And yeah, he thought I was like a surfer that was being cool and just pretending. And these beaches are good. I met Wee Man skateboarding here one time. I was skateboarding. I skateboarded away from Danica's house and went down here, or skateboarded around the school to Manhattan Beach, I think, or Redondo Beach. and he was at a Ralph's grocery store. Ralph's is pretty much Kroger. Ralph's is pretty much, or it's somewhat owned by Kroger. They have some Kroger stuff in there, Kroger brand stuff in there. So Ralph's is like Kroger, but they have some of the same foods. I think it was Redondo Beach. There's some Ralph's. This might be it. I don't know. That's apartments. It's like Kroger. And I was skateboarding, and it was before Jackass came out, but he was famous in some magazines as a skateboarder, and he started talking to me, and he asked me, he was just nice. He was really nice, and just, he talked to people around there because he was a local skateboarder around there and just wanted to meet the local skaters. And so he talked to me and said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he said, I think he said his name's Jason. I think he said his name was Jason. And that's his real name. I know him now. I know of him now. And then another time he skateboarded up here at my film school. He was like from around there. He was like, he was from around there, man. And so like Pollywog Park, and I don't know what that means. And then Hermosa Beach. I think those were really good places. Redondo Beach. Manhattan Beach. There's not much traffic there. It was sunny. Oh, beautiful, so beautiful there with the blue skies, and it's beautiful here too. It's really beautiful here too. Look at this. Look how beautiful it is. I'm in my car right now. Look how beautiful it is. I'm in the woods because they're painting my house. I don't know where else to go. And I started getting some social anxiety about Roanoke, about like fitting in Roanoke. And I don't know why I look like this. And I don't think I look that good. I don't really know why I look like this. My nose has looked like a little red. I don't know if I got sun. It looks like it just doesn't look as, I don't know, but this, I'm not going to worry about it. You know, if you see me in the Vampires of Zanzibar, I didn't wear any makeup in that, and I had really good looks. And most of that, I didn't have makeup. I think I wore makeup in one or two of the scenes. I looked really good in that. And I just look good sometimes. I don't know. I can look really good. And I just haven't showered today or gotten ready, really. And it's just how I happen to look. But I'm in the woods. And so it's really beautiful here. There's like no one for maybe miles. And I just parked in the middle of the road. Well, on the side. It's kind of on the side, but it's a private road. They wouldn't give you a ticket. So this is like Dana's road. She's my friend. She lives down there, but I don't know what I'm going to do in Roanoke. You know, I got to move to pay my bills. So let's look up Google Earth. I have to work, and I can get her and the kids there. I can get her and the kids here. It's beautiful here. But it's so beautiful in these woods too. But it's just, you know, I think I'm going to move. I really am going to move. So I'm trying to find where it says Playa del Rey. I think they took it off the map. Why does it say Paseo del Rey Elementary School? I think they took Playa del Rey off the map. It used to be right next to Marina del Rey. And they tore down the apartments where we used to live. You'd almost never see anyone there. We'd pull in, there's a pool. It was quiet. It was a good neighborhood. And it was like, I think down from Marina del Rey. That was Marina del Rey. It was north of El Segundo. And here's LAX, Los Angeles Airport. When you fly in, you could just drive like, I think it was like less than a mile or 2 miles, and you just drive right to you used to be able to drive to Playa del Rey where we lived. I don't know why it's not on the map anymore. And there's a condo there for only $100,000. My mom and dad wouldn't buy it back then, and it's gone up to like $500,000 or $1 million. I don't know. I think or 700,000, probably 700,000. I think it was a 1-bedroom or 2 or 3 or something like that. And it's probably not $1 million, but they wouldn't buy it. And I really tried to get them to buy it, and it went way up in value. And it doesn't matter, because now I can buy something of my own. It took me this long, to my 40s, to buy something of my own. In Bakersfield, here's where Danica's brother moved to with his wife. They're really Christian. They're really into God and Jesus. They're really nice. And it's Marcus and Kelly. And they're in Bakersfield. And he's a doctor. He barely made it. He was going to quit at the last minute. I was like, and by some miracle he made it. And he got his doctorate like his dad. And his wife's a doctor too. And they don't make tons of money, but I think because they don't feel like working all the time for tons of money, but they make good money, I guess. And Torrance. I don't know why it says torn, like torn. I shouldn't go there, but that I really liked that area. Something about it, I just liked Torrance. It was kind of like Roanoke. It was a good place. They had these regular homes, and it wasn't a bad neighborhood. It was like regular, and so were all these other places: Redondo, Hermosa, Manhattan Beach, El Segundo. It's not Hispanic. It's just if it was Hispanic, Austin, Texas. The Hispanic stuff in Austin, Texas, there's like almost no crime. It is really safe in Austin, Texas, but that's Austin, and I'm not going to live there. And so I'm going to live in Los Angeles, I think, unless God, at the last minute, does something. I'm probably going to live in Los Angeles. And here's Pasadena. That was good. I think the art school is the art school. Wait, no, the art school is my house. The art school is my house. Art Center is in Pasadena. Art Center is in Pasadena. Art Center is in Pasadena. I've been there a few times. It was one of the schools I think I got into to do filmmaking, but I just didn't want to go. And I went to Chapman, thank goodness, and I went to LMU. And I'm glad I went to Chapman, because it ended up getting bigger. It got more famous after I got there, and and then I was just supposed to go there for some reason. I made my movie Crazy Animal there, and I hired a celebrity to be in it, Ron Jeremy. And so then I went home to edit. Ron Jeremy. And then so Bakersfield, that's where it's an okay place, but Dave Navarro described it as kind of nerdy. It's not where the cool stuff is at. The cool stuff is in Los Angeles, meaning the stuff that you want to work at in the entertainment industry. If that's what you're really good at, that's where you should, I think, be, instead of Bakersfield, unless you do it on YouTube or something like that and want to stay around your family. Make your own indie movies. I don't know how to do that, right? To make money at it, to pay all my bills. Maybe. We'll see. I've done it for 20 years, just the feature filmmaking, pretty much, and short films, and they're professional, and they made some money, but they didn't make enough to pay my bills. Of course I know how to make indie movies. I've done 3 movies that I was the writer and director and lead actor in, and produced them. And I did movies really well, so I know how to do that. So don't pretend like I never made movies or something. There are people that it's like I worked on homes for so long and did videos, this sort of thing. Oh, did you ever even make a movie? And so here's some good places to live. Pretty much all along here and in Torrance, all along the beach if you want to work in movies. And Santa Monica, a really good neighborhood. I like Santa Monica a bunch. I like Santa Monica too. That's one of my favorites places. And Venice Beach. Venice Beach, these are places that are kind of expensive. Venice Beach is really good. And Here, let's go here. Let's zoom in. You know, I'm probably not going to be some partying person on Venice Beach or something like that. Where is this? Here's Venice. I did party, I think, one time there. I drank. I never smoked weed the entire time I was in Venice Beach. Hey, there's a lady with a baby, her friend with a baby. I don't know. I did party one time there with alcohol in 2018. It wasn't when I lived there. And here's Venice Beach. It looks huge, but it's not. This is like too far from like it doesn't always look this way. It doesn't always have huge ass buildings on next to it. That's just that one place. I don't know why it looks that way. Here's some guy holding a guitar. Who knows? And they have these people who just set up their stuff and sell things on the side. They don't make that much money, but it's possible if you're really good at playing music that you can make a bunch of money at it. If you play music here and you're good at it, you might have a huge audience watching you, or rap or something like that. It'd be fun to do. And my friend Big D, hi Derek, he was in my movies. Be cool if he goes there. This stuff on the side doesn't look like historic Venice, but that building I remember. This building, this is more like, this is what Venice looks like. This is the place in Venice where I went to the most often. And the beach is there to the right. See, there's like not that many. Well, that's the beach out there, but they used to have a homeless problem in the past 2 or 3 years. It got pretty bad, and people would just live for free on the beach. They'd bring a huge tent out there and all their stuff, and like have like walk-in closets full of all their clothes and all their belongings, and they just pretended they just lived there for free, and they let them live there. And they get to live there for free, and then they kicked them all out because it looked like a homeless place, and they kicked them out. Ew. That's disgusting. The guy with no shirt on next to water. Ew. That's a guy and his girlfriend or whatever. Anto Latino. Oh no! They're gonna kill me. That's him and his girlfriend again. Anto Latino. What are you doing here, Holmes? No one ever told me anything like that. Besides this one time I rode a bus into the wrong neighborhood. And these guys almost beat me up. And I got off the bus and they didn't. These black kids. They started making fun of me and they wanted to take my money, and I showed them I only had $2. And they just said, forget you or something. And I had to get off the bus or they were going to beat me up. But I'm not, I'm literally not racist at all, but I've been talking that way, making jokes and stuff when I was here. Here's a man, I don't know. He could be, I don't know, some person. He looks like somebody would be in New York. There aren't really New York-like people here, and there's some of there. And then, this is the place where tourists hang out. These are the tourist spots, like Venice Beach and the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Places like that. And, here it is. Here it is. Venice Beach. I don't have a bunch of time. And Malibu's here. Here's a really good neighborhood to live in. They have some mobile homes where you can live there, but they're still kind of expensive. So if you want to live in one of the richest, coolest, famous places ever, you could live in Malibu, and you can shop at all the same grocery stores they shop at and little stores around there where Mel Gibson and all these other people live who are famous. Malibu. That's a little bit up north from Venice. And then down here's Pepperdine University. When you drive down from Malibu, and it says Pepperdine really big on the hill. And my school, LMU, Pepperdine, I think that's a law school, and it was a girls' school, Pepperdine. It says it really big in the hill. And and also up here is Point Magoo. Looks kind of like the Goonies thing, but it's not. It's just Point Magoo. Here it is, Point Magoo State Park. And then you start going way up here, it's where like Jack Kerouac lived. I don't know where, but maybe somewhere at Point Magoo or up here in San Francisco or something. But don't go up there. They don't have a movie industry if you're trying to work in the movie industry. This is just Los Angeles. And that was Haight-Ashbury and stuff in San Francisco. I went there one time and just didn't want to live there. And it was kind of cold, but not that cold. It was felt like fall weather or something in the East Coast. I just didn't want to live there. But fall weather here is way better. I really like fall here. Kind of. I just can't think about being that cold. I got sick in the wintertime here. I couldn't afford to heat my house all the way. But you can do it anyway with wood burning stoves, and it was still $1,200 a month because I kept it warm anyway. But something just made me sad. I was all alone. Like I didn't have a woman to be with, or it would have been really fun in the winter staying warm from the snow. But I had to hope to God to be with her and the kids, and it just sucked being alone, and I got lonesome and stuck in there for so long, for almost 7 years. Next month, if I'm still, it's been 6 years and 10 or 11 months. And so Glendale's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's kind of far away from the LA stuff a little bit, kind of far from it, but not really. It's actually right there, but it's closer than Pasadena. Pasadena is kind of far away from the LA stuff. Actually, I think Glendale's closer to LA, but this is all LA. Burbank is up here. We live there. I live in Playa del Rey, in the good neighborhood in Playa del Rey. I went to school at LMU, and the good neighborhood there is like called Westchester or something. I also, and before, when I first moved there, I moved to Culver City in 1997. I was 19 years old. I lived in Culver City, and it's a pretty good neighborhood. It's not dangerous. Culver City. That's really weird. That was the first place I moved to go to Otis College of Art and Design. That was down here. See, it was like near where my school was, LMU. But Otis College of Art and Design was like down here somewhere. Excuse me. But, and I didn't get it. I didn't go to Otis College of Art and Design. I just lived with the students after the summer program I went to there. And then I didn't get along with them as well because I didn't go to the school, and it just wasn't as fun. And they made me leave, or I left. And some girl with a big stomach who ate a bunch of food, who was skinny, but like for some reason she ate a bunch of food and her stomach stuck out, and she was really mean to me. She was skinny, but like her stomach stuck out. I don't know why. I think she just ate a bunch of food sometimes, and then maybe it got small sometimes, her stomach. And she was really mean to me. And she made fun of me and said mean stuff, and she got my apartment instead of me. And then I went to downtown LA, and that sucked. That was like near, I don't even want to think about that. That was near Skid Row. And you just never want to live near that stuff. I lived at Al's Bar, on top of Al's Bar, where they had a Misfits record made, live at Al's Bar or something that's not even famous. It was like some weird Misfits records. I thought, oh, cool, I'll get to live there. And but I can probably go home now. They probably got done painting. It's 2:20 p.m. And then up here is the valley. Okay, here's Burbank. Oh, and here's the Hollywood Hills. And here's Here's Universal Studios at Universal City. Here. And this road, I thought somebody's behind the car. I don't know why I sounded like a sick child who doesn't have a wife and kids. It's really weird because I have a wife and kids. This is the 101. This is the 101 freeway, and it goes up to Burbank and right down to Hollywood. And this is where Hollywood is. There's Paramount Pictures. And in between are these hills where the Hollywood sign is. And in here is the Hollywood Hills. And that's been a dream of mine since I was a teenager to live there. I didn't really quite know why, but that's where I wanted to live. Looking back, all the bands and the famous people and stuff, they live there. And Mulholland Drive is near there. Mulholland Drive, I think there's a movie called LA Confidential. I studied that movie a bunch in film school. And Mulholland Drive, it's a cool road there. And it's just something about the Hollywood Hills. I want to live there. And they have woods there. You can actually live in the woods. I wonder what this Gene Autry Ridge is. I wonder what this road is. This is a back road in Los Angeles. That's right now. This is Google Earth, and I guess this year. Not in real time, but this year. And here's some houses, I think, in the Hollywood Hills. But where's this road? I'd like to live in the woods away from people there. And with people, with my wife and kids, or with a wife and kids, hopefully Danica and the kids, in the same neighborhood. And I want to live in the woods. And I'm gonna live somewhere in the woods, but I don't know where it is yet. God let me know that's where I'm gonna move. I don't know where it is in the Hollywood Hills. Somewhere in the Hollywood Hills, and I think I might have to get a small place there when I first get there to rent. If I can live in the same... This is maybe like Silver Lake. Oh, this is weird. Where's this? This looks like it's maybe near the Hollywood sign. I don't know where this is. I guess this is like the canyons of Los Angeles or something. There's a road. You may not be able to live there, but someone may have a house there. People may have a house there. Some guy with a backpack took a picture of this. The Google Earth person. Where is this? Oh, it was here. Ferndale Nature Trail. Nature Trail. Nature Trail Mix. Colorado. No. It's so cold. I wouldn't want to live there. At my age, which is not that old, just from how much I had to work on homes, I think I want to feel the warm weather to my body. So I felt way better with how sunny it is here. How sunny it is here, I felt better. I still feel kind of like shit right now. I don't know why. Just somehow right now, I don't know what it is. I had felt good for 2 or 3 months with this warm weather, but right now I started feeling like crap. I don't know why. I'm probably gonna have to go home. Maybe it's because I'm making a video and all alone. I don't know. I'm literally in my car all alone. and was alone this morning, and they showed up to, but, here's the homes. See, this is too far of a commute because I realized it's near, see, there's Orange down there. I went to school, and I used to have to commute 7 hours a day, I think, or 6. And so it would be just as much of a commute, I think, from here, or 6 hours, because I found this house up here for only $159,000. Look at this. There'd be maybe about a 6-hour commute there, unless there's less traffic. See, because the traffic was the only reason it was bumper to bumper traffic or whatever. But from up here, there's probably not traffic, and I'd be right down in the valley as soon as I drove down this highway. This highway from here, or these highways or whatever, then I'd be in the valley, and that's Los Angeles, and that's where they say you should live as an actor for this. See, this is the San Fernando Valley, and here's the house that I was going to buy. It's only $159,000, but it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and I could build 2 small buildings that you don't need a permit for on the property, where each of my sons could live, and me and Danica and the baby could live in the house unless she doesn't want to be with me, and then I could live with somebody else. But it looks like a small house. I think it's a house. I hope to God it's not a duplex. I hope to God it's not a duplex. You have to look at the places in person with a real estate agent, so you don't get ripped off, and you go to a real attorney, a lawyer, to sign the documents and stuff, who you know is real, and research them, and you don't want to get ripped off when you try to buy a place. And this is just on homes.com, and it may not be verified in MLS, so you want to make sure it's real. And this is only $159,000. Look, there's snow. See, it's like in the mountains in Los Angeles, and like Big Bear Mountain, they have snow there, and it's in Los Angeles. Big Bear is another place you could live if you like snow, and I think Big Bear is here somewhere. Big Bear Mountain. Big Bear. Here it is. It's pretty far out. No. It's pretty far out away from the city, and this place is way closer. And I think there's less traffic, so the commute may be less than 2 hours, and that would be worth it if I can live here. But I have to see what the commute is like, and then I could buy my own place. And look, here's what I like about it, is that it doesn't have other houses around it. It's like the woods. But it gets cold. I don't really want to be in the cold, but it wouldn't be that bad as long as there's heat, and I could install heat. So it's okay. It'd be a place I can maybe buy. It's only $159,000. They want cash. I researched that a little bit. That's the one place. And here's this brand new place right near it. Only $330,000. 3 bedrooms. It already has 3 bedrooms. But I don't really have enough cash to buy that. I think unless I use credit cards, if my credit score's way up, once I pay off all my debt, I might be able to buy it. And then, see, I can't qualify to buy a house right now because I don't have a regular job. So other people with a regular job could just buy this or a more expensive house. This is not in the house. These are the facility. These are the places that they have to use their pools and stuff. But the actual house just looks like this. That's the house. This is the house. This is a regular, and it has a big tub. It's $330,000, but it's kind of far from Los Angeles, so that's why it's so cheap. And here's another one that's cheaper that I can maybe get for $200,000 in cash, but it's like pretty far away. It's like as far as here are 2 other places you could live for cheap outside of LA: Palmdale and Lancaster. Palmdale's closer to LA, and they're cheaper to live, and you can get like an entire house. Instead of in LA, you'd get a small apartment or maybe a small house. But this house is for sale for only $280,000. Look at all that privacy. It's like the woods. This one's really cool, and it's a 3-bedroom. So I can maybe buy this for $200,000. They're asking $280,000. This is awesome. Pretty much ready to move in. I could do some work. I have to look at the quality of the. I have to look at the condition of it. It hasn't been easy, and then it looks a little too far away for me to live in. It's just been so much work. It's like all work and no play make John not feel as good. And here's the San Fernando Valley. That's the valley. And it's okay. It's just kind of like, it's a little bit of like a, they want you to like stand down and not to get to act your coolest and best and not look really good looking and cool stuff like that there. So like some people say it's stupid, the valley, who cares? But some of it's like the valley girls, and that's what valley girls are. That valley girls are named after the San Fernando Valley, and some of it's kind of cool. And Crispin Glover got his first condo there after Back to the Future. He got a condo in the valley, and he chose to live there, so it must be kind of cool after Back to the Future. Then he lived in then I stayed at this Airbnb under his mansion. It was a room in his mansion, and there was an apartment in his mansion, and it was scary to me, and I had to leave in the middle of the night or something. And I thought he was going to kill me, but he wouldn't have actually killed me, but it was a worry of mine. I thought he was going to come in there and kill me and make a legal excuse. He was angry or something, but I don't think he would do that in real life. I just got worried, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I didn't like staying at some other rich guy's house, some other person's house. He was like some rich guy and has a big, huge mansion. And so he's the only person who was afraid of in LA. And that wasn't when I was living there. That was in 2018. I was going to let you know about that. He was the only person who I was afraid of, Crispin Glover. But he's nice too. I texted him a bunch. Like I have you want to see his text messages? I can't show him because he keeps his house private. He doesn't want to see it. I could just show you if you want to stay at his Airbnb. I'll show you the text messages he sent me. This is from Crispin Glover. This is the famous guy, Crispin Glover. I'll just show you. I don't know if I'm allowed to show you or not. Because here, wait. He called himself C. I stayed at his house. Here he is. He lived in Silver Lake. That's like the cool new place where people he doesn't want people to know that he's the famous guy living in Silver Lake, or he might try to sue you or not. No, but he can't. See, he wants to pretend that he'll sue you, but he can't sue you for just letting people know that you found out he's Crispin Glover and he lives at this house. It's on Airbnb if you want to look for it, but I'm not going to show you. Because he was a little frightening. I thought he might try to like get angry if he didn't want people to know where he lived, and he lived in plain day, and I saw him walking around at night like Ichabod Crane in the shadows, and it was frightening to me. Like I saw his silhouette walking in the shadows like Ichabod Crane, and and this is what we wrote to one another, or I wrote to him. I wrote a bunch of stuff to him, I think. I had to cancel the reservation. I wrote him all this stuff. He almost kept $8,000. He almost kept $8,000 of mine, and by a miracle, I only paid him $2,000 and stayed there for like, I don't know how long. And he kept some of the money, and I was afraid a little bit at the end, but I think at first he was afraid of me because I didn't know who he was. And then when I found out who he was, I got worried. Like, I thought he was this random guy from Czechoslovakia who's like, I thought he was some weird guy that from Czechoslovakia, and he had books on Czechoslovakia or something in the house. and it was funny, but I saw him walking in the shadows, and he had these old antique cars with car covers outside from like the 1920s and 30s, and it was a real old Hollywood mansion built in 1927. Here's some of the stuff he said. You can read it all. Oh shit. Oh good, he didn't give his private phone number. Here's what he said if you want to read it and press pause on this. I'm going to go. I don't want to show you everything he said. He had a girlfriend, and there was like a younger girlfriend, and he looked young too, I think. He was in his early 50s, and he still looked young, and I think he got angry, really angry, if he thought he was old looking. I think. Like, I thought about him one time, too old for this shit. And I felt like he would do horrors and want me to die and or something like that. Like in his thoughts and heart. But I don't know if it's true. It couldn't, all that he actually said, he was actually really nice and kind. But this is what he actually said was this stuff, this nice stuff that he wrote me on here. I'm glad you enjoyed the visit. The other stuff could have been in my thoughts, or I don't know if it was real or not, but I got worried about it, and so I left. And he said, "Hi, John, I'm glad you enjoyed the visit, and I hope all is well with you and your family. Please understand that by not canceling the reservation here on Airbnb, the apartment is not rentable until your reservation ends or until you cancel the reservation. As it is, the calendar is blocked here on the Airbnb website. Were you unable to lock the door and return the keys to the lockbox? Let me know any information. Thanks." I canceled it, but I stayed there for like 3 or 4 weeks or something. It was only $2,000, so it wasn't that expensive. He rents it really cheap. His place is cheap, and he's nice. He's kind of nice. He's nice, but I wouldn't stay there for 3 or 4 weeks because you start hearing him through the ceiling, and he's like above you in this like mansion, and it's like it was worrisome to me, like he owned the whole place and thought he was the coolest or something. Oh shit. Ugh. I'll show you his house. Here's his mansion. This, I think, is the room I stayed, and he decorated it differently because I was on a bunk bed, and I'd stay at the top bunk, and it was back there where that bed was, and him and his girlfriend were upstairs, and one time maybe his girlfriend was alone, and maybe she could hear me through the floor, and he changed the bed, and he changed the bed. he changed it to a different bed that wasn't as close to the ceiling. I don't know. Get out of here. Ooh, disgusting fly. And he was kind of nice. Ew, there's flies, so gross. Ew. This is the room where I stayed. He redecorated. That thing was here. That closet was in the corner. This is the refrigerator I put these Stella Artois beers. And I got the feeling like he was like jealous that I spent so much money on stuff. Like he had to save his money to have a net worth. And I spent a bunch of money when I was there on like nice, like expensive beer and groceries, but it was just a vacation. And then I had to live at almost the poverty level to barely pay my bills and be really cold in the wintertime and stuff so I could pay my bills. But he has about $3 million, I think, a net worth of $3 million. So he has millions of dollars, but when you have that much, it's not like 100 million. So he had to work at this Airbnb stuff. Here's a shower where I took a shower. He's pretty nice, but I got worried that like he didn't want me there, and then they could smell it when I made a really big poo or something, and then like because his windows were open, and like these windows were open to get air, and I asked for an air conditioning, and he bought me one and sent it, and that's how I found out his name was Crispin, because the guy said it was for him, and then I'd take a really big poo, and it was like his girlfriend was like up there, and I don't know, it was like they thought I was like cool because I took a really big poo and acted cool. And then one time it doesn't make any sense though, because it was like he's cool, he took a really big poo, but it was weird. It was like I thought stuff like that was happening, but I could hear them through the floor. They were above me, and I hear them talking and stuff, but I couldn't really hear them say anything bad. You know, that was just in my thoughts. They really said kind things when he texted me, and I didn't get to stay there long enough to really meet them, and I was a little afraid to meet them and didn't want to stay in their house. It felt awkward, so I just left. And what would he have helped me to do with my movies? He couldn't really be my boss. He didn't have enough money to pay me, and unless he did, maybe somebody $3 million did, I could have worked on his house. I don't know, but I don't want to go back to him and work for him or something. Here, this is probably one of the windows. I had these old windows from 1927. I think that's the bathroom window that was left open. I'd make a really big poo and it would go on there. Here's where you walk up. It's an old mansion, like a vampire mansion or something kind of. It was like kind of cool. And he owns another mansion in Czechoslovakia. He's not a vampire. He's a human being. There are no such thing as vampires. And that's his place. You can rent it. Look, $55 a night. Look, I'm going to take a picture of it. Look in the lower. Look, $55 a night. That's amazing. You can go on Airbnb and stay there, maybe. But don't tell him that I said I might be the one who lets him know. You know, he never said not to tell anyone. He doesn't say that. So you could stay there in LA, but don't try not to go public with it, because I think he hasn't gone public with it. I don't know why. If they start finding out, like, it'll help him with getting more famous and getting more acting jobs. And he gets some acting jobs now, and I hope he gets way more famous again. And he's already really famous. He already was an A-lister. I'm gonna look him up. You know, I think he got to number 1 on or 2 or 3 on IMDb. Let's see how famous he was. He may have been number 1 at one time, like, for all actors. I don't know what that means, but let's look him up on. Oh no, IMDb started in the year 2000, so it didn't go back to the 80s and 90s when he was like number 1. Sometimes, you know, he was really cool in Back to the Future, but he was probably number 1 back then, here and there, like even more than Michael J. Fox sometimes. I like him. I think he's okay. Wait, I'm going to check me. I don't know, check how popular I am on here. Why is it only 137,000? I don't know. But I took a shower in there every day. I wasn't like gross just because. Here's Crispin Glover. I think he still looks young. He's in his 50s and still looks young. His middle name, I think he called himself Hellion. His dad didn't call him that. I hope. His dad was an actor too, so it was like, right now he's 1,200 most popular. That's really famous. Oh, he was number 1. So he must have really been number one. And oh, wait. I'm trying to, yeah. He was number one. He was number one in 2002. Or 2003. No. Oh, he was on Saturday Night Live in 2003. Wow. I think he was on oh no, that was Late Night with Conan O'Brien. That was 2003. He was number one on the IMDb. See, this shows, on the side, it has like, whoops. This shows 1, 10, 100, and he was here at number one. So that's pretty good. I'm going to delete it. But that was in 2003. He was number one on Earth. On Earth. It's amazing. Okay. So and right now he's one of the most famous actors. He's like number 1200. That's pretty good. So here's apartments I can rent, but they're kind of expensive. But this one's not that expensive. This is only a 1-bedroom, 1-bath in Laurel Canyon, where Jim Morrison lived. This is right in Laurel Canyon. I think this is the Hollywood Hills, but I don't know. And it's only $2,800 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. It's not as expensive as you would think to get to, but it's only a 1-bedroom. My kids went everywhere to stay. And Rowan could live there, but it's pretty expensive for a 1-bedroom. So I could get a cheaper 1-bedroom if I have to. There's like nothing that special about this one, but I might get it because it's in Laurel Canyon, a better neighborhood, and there may be woods around it. I was looking for a place with woods around it. So 2,800 is not that bad. But I'd like to get a 3-bedroom, so I don't know. I looked up to 4,900 for let's try 3-bedroom to 4. There's only one. Here's the house, but it's like junk for some reason. I'm not supposed to live here. It'd take too much money every month, but it's a 3-bedroom. It's not for me. I'm not supposed to look at that one. It's too expensive. I'd maybe end up on the streets if I had to spend that money. Who knows? I'd have to come back to Roanoke. My dream wouldn't happen. It's too expensive. I don't know if I have a dream. Not like Martin Luther King, but, buddy. No. So to get her and the kids, I gotta find somewhere I can live. This says it's $299,000 in LA. I must have seen what this one is. Oh, that's just for a lot. How could you spend $299,000 on a lot? Unless you have a little more. Unless you had 200 or 300 more to build something. I don't know. And this is just not for me. This one's supposed to be. This is not for me. This is not a good house to buy. Here's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath for $259,000. Regular apartment. I don't want to live there. I'm tired of those places. I'd rather live in this place. Big 3-bedroom. It's a little too far. Maybe too far away. I don't know. If it's a fast commute, if it's less than 2-hour commute, I can live there. And this is the other one. It's a little crappy 1-bedroom, but it's closer to Los Angeles. I don't know. And so if you're looking for good neighborhoods to live in Los Angeles, I'll try to show you. Here. Bronson Caves, named after Charles Bronson or somebody like that. Famous stuff. Yeah, who cares? Yeah, I care. Los Angeles Zoo, I haven't been there. Here's the Griffith Observatory. That's where he said, I'll tear you apart, or it's tearing me apart. The Griffith Observatory. James Dean. That was filmed there at the Griffith Observatory. Observatory. He was really young when he did that. I don't know how you look that good to be that cool. One of those types of actors at my age, unless I get in really, really good shape. Really good shape. Then I know my face will look good too, because my face looks good enough to be able to still do it. I'm one of those people who has a face good enough to be able to still do it, but there's no buts about it. I can still do it if I get my body in shape. But see, this neck is kind of fat, and then I can look better. And it doesn't look that great right now, but I can still do it. I can do it. I don't know why I look like shit. I don't know why my nose looks like it's red. I don't know why. That's weird. Usually it's never looked that bad. I must have hit it or something. I don't know. I don't look that great right now, but I can look better. So I think it's possible, because I know it's possible. I know what I'm capable of. It's just not easy to do, because to get in that kind of shape and be eating right enough for your face to look that good, I can do it. It's easy. It's just not here. I can't do it here because I haven't felt as good here. That's why I haven't looked as good. But here's West Hollywood. Well, West Hollywood was always a good neighborhood, but it's a little bit gay. It has a huge gay stuff there in West Hollywood, but it's not in Beverly Hills. It's there in West Hollywood. It's different from Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is not gay. And West Hollywood has one of the biggest gay neighborhoods on earth. But it's just a small neighborhood compared to Los Angeles. There aren't that many gay neighborhoods on earth. And that's not a problem in LA. They have, many of the people there are kind of Republican. Like as far as gay rights stuff. But so most of them, I think, that's just how they've been. And they're not against gay people. They're kind to them, and there's no real such thing as gay. People have a tendency towards those things. Some people have a tendency towards those things. So Los Angeles is a kind of gay-friendly city, but they're just, it's actually more vegan-friendly. So if you're gay, if you're a gay person, West Hollywood is maybe the best place you could live on earth. Have these big gay events and stuff where everyone goes out in public, but it's not dangerous. Usually people wouldn't get raped or anything like that. And they have straight people that go to it just for fun. We went there as a group, like with girls and guys, just for fun, to their like gay event stuff when a bunch of people were walking around. I don't remember what it was. And at one time, this guy who's like, he brought me there in an old antique car, and I thought he just wanted to be in a band. And I found out he was gay, and I just didn't talk to him again. When I was like 20 or 21, he wanted to hang out and be in a band. When I lived in downtown LA by myself, I was like 20 years old. I was 20 years old, and then he said, "You want to hang out?" And then I said, "Okay." And I thought he was just, he had a Marshall amplifier and he played guitar. He had a Marshall stack, but he was kind of gross because he like ate food in his apartment. I wouldn't eat food and leave it around in there because it had roaches, and he would just leave it all around and didn't care, and it was gross that he would do that. And there's a Chinese girl there who wanted to be with me, sex and stuff, and I just wouldn't answer my door, and she knocked on it all night, drunk one night, and I just wouldn't answer the door, and she was like older than me. She was like 32, and I was only 20, and I was like, I thought it was too old for me back then. You know, I was just a kid. I was only 20. I just turned 20, and so I didn't want to be with her, but she liked me. And there's this girl downstairs who worked at a I can show you where it is. Al's Bar. Whoa. They turned it into the Punk Rock Museum, LA. It looked just like CBGB. I couldn't play in there because I was only 20 and you had to be 21. Where is it? Now they call it the American Hotel. Weird. I lived in there in 1998 or the end of 97 and 98. When my roommates kicked me out and I had to find somewhere to live, it was only like $305 a month. It said looking for actors, it said looking for artists and musicians. Looking for musicians and artists to live. And I played my drums and they're really loud and the whole neighborhood could hear it. I had a cheap little drum set and I played them really loud and a good snare. I had a good piccolo snare that I had from high school. And a cheap little drum set that I got for like $20 or something. And I played them really loud. And I had a good hi-hat that I think was worth $800. It was an old jazz Zildjian and special one, and I didn't even know it was worth $800. It had the engraving from the old days of the jazz days, the hi-hats, and another Zildjian cymbal. It was worth a bunch of money, but I didn't know. I got it at a yard sale. Al's Bar. This is what it looked like, the CBGB. And this girl was the manager there, and I played drums with her band after hours when it was closed. Her name was Toast. And she looked to be about 52 and had a small body like a child. And she was like 52, but it was so old to me back then. I thought she was so old. I mean, I thought she was already an old person. And she's probably like 70s now. Or she was 48, but it was so old to me back then, the way she looked. And I don't want to say anything mean about her. I was only 20. I think that's it. I'll show you where the apartment is where I lived. Here's the store downstairs. They had a little convenience store. And catty corner across the street from here, my apartment, I think, was... I'll show you. Here's my apartment. The second floor right there. It's where I played the drums and it echoed through the neighborhood. Or not echoed, but people heard me. And this store downstairs, there's this young girl who worked there that was older than me by a couple of years. Maybe she was like 21, or maybe she was 18. And she worked there, this white girl who was like kind of punk rock. And she worked there all the time at the little convenience store. And she thought I was like the taxi driver guy and was crazy or something because I was trying to be so skinny. And I didn't understand. I thought I was fat. And I thought people thought I was fat. But I was really skinny. I weighed like not that much weight. And I'd PA on movies. I worked as a PA on movies and got free food. And they didn't really pay me. But they gave me free food. And my mom and dad paid for me for a year to try to find out what I was going to do. And I didn't really talk. I felt very alone there. I was poor. And I lived on like $800 a month, but they gave me a pretty new looking car. My mom and sister drove me a new car there. It was like a 1996 Isuzu SUV. And I put cool stickers on it and had a cool car, and it was a stick shift and so hard to drive in traffic. And that's where I stayed, in Al's Bar. And the entrance to Al's Bar was here. Now they call it the American Hotel, or Punk Rock Hotel, or Al's Bar Hotel, or I don't know. And it was on a Misfits record. And this is the reason why I lived there, because I remembered seeing it. The Misfits, Al's Bar. This has got to be it. Al's Bar 82. I remember it said 82 on it. Yeah, this is it. This is the record. I had this record, and and it's so sad. I threw it away because I thought it had devil stuff. It must be worth $400 or $200 or more. It might be worth more than $400. It's a bootleg record, and it was kind of famous. And it was called Live at Al's Bar. See, in the bottom right it says Al's Bar 82. And I threw it in the garbage. I threw all my valuable old Misfits records in the garbage because I thought they were demonic or something. And I believe in God and Jesus, and I threw them all away. And then I felt like they're actually good people. And even Doyle, who has a star tattooed on his hand, it's not even a pentagram, but at the right angle, who knows? And it's not supposed to be, but it's just a star. And I was supposed to be kind to him again. And he was like, he's a good person. He's vegan. He's Doyle. He's this guy on the right. And he's pretty famous, and he's cool. And he has the best he has the best athletic, best looking, good shape. He has the best, most athletic looking body of any rock star to have ever lived. That's Doyle on the right. He has the most athletic looking body of any rock star to have ever lived. And after I had been vegan for like 8 years, I liked the Misfits so much. They're my favorite band. Somehow he became vegan. So I think somehow I was like, they were one of my favorite bands. And Danzig was one of my favorite bands growing up. He's Glenn Danzig in the middle. And he's just this Italian guy, but he looks scary there. Like his nose looks like a wolf nose, but he's not a wolf man. He's just maybe he just pretend. But he's Danzig. He's a human being. He's a regular human being, but he's a little bit sinful. But some of his records just sound, his music can mean really good stuff. He changed the lyrics because he's the only one who knew what the lyrics meant. And so it was artistic, so he can make him mean whatever he feels like at any time. And so it's like he made him good again. And they've been good for many years. And then I found, it's okay to listen to their music. They weren't that bad. So I used to like Misfits so much. I lived at Al's Bar because I remembered it on the Misfits record, and I thought I'd get famous somehow. But I was too young to play in the bar. But I played with her band, and she was like she ran Flipside Records, I think, or Flipside Magazine. I'm gonna look Flipside Magazine. I think she was the one who did Flipside Magazine. Toast. Her name was like Toast. She was just like, person, hey, I'm Toast. Flipside Magazine. This is it. Yeah. This is her magazine that I think was she was the manager of the LA's bar, and she did this magazine. And I jammed with her band and played on drums, and it sounded really good. But I wasn't old enough to play in the club or go to the clubs because I was only 20. And I ended up going to LMU LMU, Louisville and Marymount University, to study film before I turned 21. And so I left the neighborhood, but it wasn't dangerous there in particular. It was like kind of dangerous. It was kind of dangerous. It was just at night. You couldn't go out at night because there were like crackheads and stuff who just roamed around. And, but they partied and stuff, and I never did. I didn't even drink alcohol once or smoke weed once when I was in Los Angeles until the very end of when I was leaving. I drank champagne. Like, I didn't understand why, but it was like I wanted to go back to the East Coast where they had the Christmas stuff. I'm letting this fly out of here. Get out of here. And you get out of here, punk rocker in California. I opened up the door and said that. This was cool. She did Flipside magazine. First issue in 1977. Yeah, she was a little older, but I didn't know how much older. And this is pretty good. She was small, and her face looked a little older. It was like, back then I thought she was so old because I was only 20, but everyone knew her around there, and she was the manager of the Al's Bar, and I had to pay her a check every month for like $305. $305 for my rent, and it didn't have a bathroom, and I had to use the bathroom in the hallway. The hallway bathroom. One time I saw a roach there when I was taking a shower, a big roach, and I was like, ew! I couldn't eat food in my place unless I picked up every tiny little crumb and couldn't leave a crumb anywhere so there wouldn't be any roaches. I was so afraid of the roaches. So I never saw any roaches in my room, but I think unless I saw them at first and then never kept any food around. And I had like a mattress on the ground, but it was okay. It was like a loft looking place. And I made some songs in there too on Cakewalk, this program called Cakewalk. And it was really hard to do the software back then because it was an old computer. It was like an old PC. And I got the program Cakewalk and made some music by myself. And I don't know where the recordings are. And I think I have them on a computer, but my mom threw it down accidentally because she thought it was porn. She thought I kept the old computers for porn. And that's not what my computers are for. It's for art. But she didn't know. I acted like when I was out in public, like, oh, my problem with porn. I hinted at that it was from a computer, like, because I felt bad for looking at it. But that's not what my computers are for. And then, it's for creating art. It's my real work that God gave me an ability to do editing, to do video editing, or screenwriting, or art in Photoshop and stuff like that. And writing to my wife and kids, or helping people use text, texting to people and sending emails and stuff like that, and promoting my YouTube channel, stuff like that. That little fly. So that was Al's Bar, now called the Al's Bar, also called the American Hotel. Wow, it's really kind of famous. Now it says Al's Bar closed. That's where I stayed. It said looking for me. Oh, Nirvana played there. Hey, look, Nirvana played there. That's a stage I played on. Wow. And it looked like the CBGB, all this spray paint and graffiti inside it. just in the inside. It was like painted walls, like the old, like the CBGB. It looked just like the CBGB. Not real graffiti, but like, you know, they that's how they did the art in there. They let people draw on it and stuff. It wasn't graffiti, like, or, you know, it wasn't messing up private property. It was their own place that they did that to intentionally. This is Nirvana on stage, I think. Yeah, that's Kurt Cobain playing one of those Fenders. Those Fenders that he had. That was one of the reasons why I liked Fender. And Jimi Hendrix played it. But my grandfather played Gibson. I like Gibson better because it's my grandfather's. But I don't know. Yeah, so I like Gibson. That's Nirvana. Here's the place I stayed on the second floor. I know it was the second floor now. That second floor. It wasn't the third floor. That was like really high up, and I'd walk up there sometimes. That was the guy who's this other guy who had a Marshall amp who I found out was gay after he drove me in his old classic car that had a convertible. It was this old, stupid looking, kind of like my Caddy, but it was just dumb. I don't know. And he drove me to West Hollywood and walked around. He got a chorizo, and he was really white looking, had blonde hair, but he was part Mexican and grew up Mexican. And he got a chorizo. He liked chorizo. and then he walked around with me in West Hollywood. And I found out, wait a second, this guy's gay. And I never hung out with him after that. I didn't even talk to him after that, I think. I may have said hi when I saw him in the hallway or something, but I didn't. I never hung out with him again. Once I found out he was trying to, like, he thought maybe I'd be gay. They thought I was gay. And Toast, the girl at the place, thought maybe I was gay because I wouldn't be with a woman, but I was just really godly and good. And I thought I didn't look good enough. And God saved me from fornicating too much, or, you know, from going all the way with fornicating with anyone. And I didn't even get to have a girlfriend, and I would have really liked to have a girlfriend, but I just didn't find the right one, and the Chinese girl wasn't good enough looking, so, or for whatever reason, I thought, you know, I just didn't want her. I wouldn't have been happy with her. And somehow Danica and I met up at the very end of 1999 or beginning of 2000. I think it was the very end of 99. And so by a miracle, I got to move in with Danica, and we were pretty much married. Once you, so this was, that's where I lived. That was my window in the second floor. It's called the American Hotel, and I'd play drums in there. My drums, I think, were in this room. There were two little rooms right next to each other. It didn't have a bathroom. It didn't have a kitchen. And it was just two little rooms that were like a little studio. And I'd have to use the bathroom in the hallway, and not in the hallway, in the hallway bathroom. And somebody lived, oh, wait a second. Yeah. I think that's where I lived. Yeah. Yeah, because there are big steps that walked. Yeah, I think that's where I lived on the second floor, unless I lived in that first floor right up. No. That was too close to that. I would have heard, unless it was this first floor. It was either this first floor or the second floor, 100%. 100%. This is where it was either here or here. Either this first floor or this second floor. On the Latino. Put a smiley face here. If I got 4 eyes. 4 eyes. Come on. 4 boobs. You're a cow. They've been milking you. The emotion from them. Your wife has been milking you, man. Go get her in real life. Delete this. Oh, shit. He deleted his Mexican-American drawing. No. Mexican-American. I had to act like I was a Mexican from the labor I did. Even though I'm not really a Mexican. I like Cheech and Chong too. They don't really stand for all Mexicans, but they're okay. This is what the place looked like inside, but it looked cool. I don't know why it has that gross thing at the top, but it was actually really cool. It looked almost just like CBGB, but I had never been. I don't know if I'd ever been in CBGB or not. I may have been there one time. I think it never made it inside CBGB while it was open. They should keep it in business. They'd make good money. But that's where I lived. And oh no. Oh yeah, that's that song. I like that song. And so here are other good neighborhoods to live. Beverly Hills is really expensive generally, but you may be able to find a little apartment there, and you could say you actually live in Beverly Hills and find an okay, not expensive apartment in there too. It's like about the same as other apartments around there. And Bel Air, really expensive, mostly homes in there, not apartments. Also Beverly Hills, I think, is mostly nice places. But I'd like to live in the woods, in the Hollywood Hills. That's where I want to live. In the woods in the Hollywood Hills. That's where all the cool stuff that I like, the music and stuff, was from the Hollywood Hills. I think they lived in there. And that's where I want to live one day. And get my family there too. I want to get the kids and all my family in Los Angeles. But I'm not going to go too big and crazy with it until maybe I leave here, and then I might start standing up for it a bunch. But I'll always stand up for Roanoke. For Roanoke. Because that's where I'm from. I'm just not going to say anything bad about it. And I think it'll keep going up in value, the values of homes in Roanoke. So here's all the good places to live in Los Angeles. Pretty much any neighborhood besides Inglewood. If you're white, you can't live in Inglewood. Compton, if you're white, you can't live in Compton. But it's safe for black people and Latinos. You can't live in some places in the San Fernando Valley. They are dangerous and sometimes very Mexican dangerous neighborhoods in the San Fernando Valley. Some of them kind of dangerous. They're not as bad as Compton or Inglewood or the places that are south of Hollywood. Like Hollywood's up here. Hollywood's okay. It's not that dangerous, but a little bit at night it may be almost kind of dangerous. Hollywood at night, they might have homeless people and stuff. It's like it's not that great at night, but I wouldn't live right on the Walk of Fame with kids and stuff. I wouldn't bring them out there at night. And the other bad neighborhood to avoid is downtown LA. But there's supposed to be some places in downtown LA that are not as bad. But it's like pretty much Skid Row will be like 2 blocks away from almost anything. It's just not, I don't know. I just don't want to go to downtown LA again. Because that's more dangerous than Hollywood at night. And some of Hollywood is more expensive and good and different from just the Walk of Fame places where they might have like bums at night and stuff. And many tourists go there, so it's usually kind of safe. So those are the only places to avoid are downtown LA, Inglewood, Compton, places around Inglewood and Compton, and some of the Valley, which is kind of like the ghetto. And also kind of East Los Angeles, East LA, I think. And also some of all those places may be okay for some people, but I just would avoid them. I wouldn't live in those places. Like I wouldn't live in, unless you really had to go there for something. And everywhere else is good, but it's kind of expensive. Like I lived in Burbank. I stayed in Glendale at a hotel for a while when I went back and visited. And most of the San Fernando Valley is good. Some of it's really safe and good. It's not as expensive as cool places like here, Sunset Boulevard. I think Pacific Palisades is a rich place. Of course, Malibu's a rich place. and the PCH highway is really cool. But Sunset Boulevard, that's where all the Motley Crue, Poison, all those cool bands used to party and stuff. Probably Ozzy too. I know Ozzy at the Rainbow, and David Lee Roth, and all those places were on the Sunset Boulevard. That place is cool. And this is crazy, but Dr. Dre drove his really expensive $300,000 Ferrari or something like that Ferrari. He drove it like 120 miles an hour on there. And I don't do stuff like that. I don't do stuff against the law, but he was from like Compton and places like that. No. And he was from Compton and places like that. So I heard he drove his Ferrari really fast, but he probably don't. No, I never did that there. I never tried to fit in and talk like I was like, yo, come on. I didn't fit in with any of that. And I had to hide because I was truthful for God and Jesus. I didn't lie. And I'll show you what I did in that ghetto neighborhood. Who cares? I couldn't act cool. I couldn't act my best. I couldn't do the things I enjoyed. I couldn't feel like a rock star. I had to hide, and almost like I had to hide just to be able to make it into my little apartment. And then this black lady lived in this black lady who was nice lived in the apartment next to mine, and she had like a big 3-bedroom with all her stuff dating back to the 70s. And she had a loud stereo system, and she played this old 70s music like Sly and the Family Stone or something. I don't know what it was. She knew all the old 70s stuff before rap. All the black music that was like popular before rap. And in my apartment, all I had was a mattress on the ground, my clothes, a guitar, and a computer, and that's it. That's it. I just had a mattress on the ground, like with blankets, a blanket and a pillow. I think 1 pillow or 2. Back then, I didn't know that, I like to have a bunch of pillows and a bunch of blankets now. I just didn't know back then. I was so young, I just slept however and didn't know I was supposed to sleep some way that it wouldn't hurt my body or something. And I had a guitar, a mattress on the ground, a computer, and clothes, and that was pretty much it. And she looked in my apartment one time, and she had all her stuff there, like it was her place, and she felt the best, and she felt normal there, and I just felt so poor, and I didn't get to feel my best, and was worried about even getting into the apartment. And she said, she did this. She looked in my door one time when I opened up the door, and she said, "Crazy." She thought I was crazy. How I had just had a mattress on the ground and a guitar and a computer in front of the bed on the ground, and my clothes like kind of in a pile on the ground or in the closet. And she thought I was crazy. And then this homeless guy in a wheelchair, he kept showing up at my door and staying outside of my house for like an hour or 2 or more hours sometimes. And he'd knock on my door, and I don't know what he wanted. And he was like either Hispanic or maybe black, but I don't know. And he would knock on my door and try to get me to open the door. And I don't know why. He noticed I lived there, and I don't know what he was trying to get from me. And I told the manager, who had a t-shirt on, and it said D-I-K-E, Dyke, instead of Nike, and it had a check. And it was like a pretend to look like a check mark, and it said Nike. It was supposed to say Nike, but it said Dyke. And she was a lesbian, but I signed the contract to live there, or the application, and I had to live there once I found out it was a ghetto, so it would be too much money. I couldn't afford to live anywhere else, so I had to live there. But then I told on the kid, the man who was in a wheelchair, maybe had been to prison, and I told on him, the guy who had maybe been to prison in a wheelchair, and she said, "Oh, don't mind him. He's just an old crackhead. Don't mind him. He's just an old crackhead." And I didn't know what that meant. And she said, "Oh, he ain't gonna hurt anyone. He's just a crackhead." What's the difference between a crackhead and a killer or a homeless person? I didn't know what it meant. Yo, I farted. I look like shit too in this video, but that's okay. I didn't feel as good today. And, but I looked okay. I just didn't look my best. I can look better than this. I don't know why I didn't look as good. Hey. So those are the good places to live in Los Angeles. Hey, a bug, disgusting. I've just had a friend as a bug here. Thousand Oaks is a pretty good place. Danica's mom's friend, I think, lived there. We filmed at various places. We lived in Burbank and Playa del Rey. Me and Danica. We lived in Burbank and Playa del Rey. Good neighborhoods. It was always a safe neighborhood with Danica. I didn't have to go into the ghetto. I guess I got to live in that one cool place, but it was kind of stupid because it was like downtown, but it was kind of cool. I didn't know. And I played drums in a few different little bands. They didn't do much besides, I think we put on 1 or 2 shows with the songs we played. Like those other young people who just didn't make that much money. They lived in apartments and trying to be famous and stuff. So Pasadena is a good place to live. That's more suburban. That's where David Lee Roth's dad lived, who was a dentist or doctor. I think he was a dentist. And he lived in Pasadena, and that's where David Lee Roth lived with him. Until, at his mom and dad's house, until they started getting more famous, like in the late 70s or 80s, and he finally, late 70s, I think he finally moved out. They used to play all around places and drive to it and come back home, but they mostly stayed in California, I think, but I don't know. And then they got big enough, and then he started playing all in the entire nation. I just don't want to. I like Los Angeles. I know how to drive there, and I don't want to drive there. I'd rather take Ubers. It's the same price to drive a car that you own or take Ubers. So it's kind of easier to take Ubers there. They're going to have automated driving cars pretty soon. So we don't have to drive if you don't like to drive and don't want to get speeding tickets or anything, and just rather have somebody like car drive you around on its own. And they're starting to have those now. This is the year 2023. So if somebody looks back at it, they'll see that I knew that already. I know they're going to have self-driving cars. This year, I think, is the first year that we can buy them. And they have them in many cities already. They have these cars that just drive themselves around the cities. Alhambra. I haven't really been there. I probably drove around there at some time. I delivered a script to Margaret Cho's house when I was a PA living at Al's Bar. I delivered a script to her house, and she lived in there with her mom, or her mom was visiting from China, Margaret Cho. And I talked to her a little bit at her front door. Get out of here. Stupid fly. Get the fuck away from here, you mother... Sorry. Disgusting. Sorry. The fly was telling me to leave. Huntington Beach, I think that was okay. I think all the beach places are very safe, unless maybe you get down to here. Oh, I'm sorry. Carlsbad may not be that. I don't know what that's like. I haven't been this far down one time we went to Mexico, I think, or two different times I went to Mexico. Here's San Diego, obviously and here's Tijuana. Like you cross the border into Mexico if you ever visit it, and you don't need a prescription for any medicine or drugs there that are real medicine that you might want to get. And that's and you can take steroids there. It's legal to do steroids. So if somebody was going to try to get like really athletic and do steroids, it's illegal in the United States. And if you wanted to do steroids, don't do it, because it could kill you if you do it wrong. You'd have to study it so much and do it just right to be like Sylvester Stallone. You did it only a little bit, and still you have to be so athletic and do aerobic and stay light enough so you don't hurt your joints. And it's hard, really hard. You have to study it and make it like one of the main things that you worked at in life to not die from it or have it hurt you. You have to really study it and do it right. And for those people who might want to do it, you can get it at their pharmacies. You can just walk in and ask for it at the pharmacies in Mexico. And then you have a place where you can lift weights, like a gym, or bring some weights down there in a car, and just the weights. Don't ever transport drugs across the border. Don't ever transport drugs or fruit or anything like that across the border. And don't ever do steroids. It's illegal. So just don't do steroids, especially if you're a child. Don't ever do steroids. You could die from it. But I'm saying, like, for those people it's not even legal to do in America. So some people have to actually go down to Mexico to be able to do it. And they get strong for like a few weeks or months, or a few weeks, probably up to 6 weeks, I think one cycle is. And then they can like lose body fat, get stronger. And then when they're done doing that, and they can drive back. And then maybe there's this one guy who did steroids once in Roanoke, and I think another guy, and they kept their muscle on for like 20 years. They're stronger than most anybody. These two different guys in Roanoke who did steroids, and they're into looking cool and looking good. And they only did them one time, and they kept their muscle on for like 20 years. And I think it makes it so you can eat more or just stay in better shape without having to work out much at all, compared to how relentlessly, I don't know, but I like working out relentlessly if I'm able to. So I'd like to lose more body fat so I'm able to work out every day. And I don't want to do steroids because I don't want to hurt my body. And I can get to where I look like I'm on steroids without having to do it if I work at it hard enough. So I never want to go down to Mexico and do steroids. But they have these expensive, nice places that aren't that, it's a tourist place. This is Baja, Mexico, and they have these homes, like these there's beautiful, well-made homes in Mexico that are one of a kind, and they have like all kinds of. They're really good at tile and all this work on homes, and you can stay and visit and stay on the beach and stuff, and it's not that expensive. We stayed one time. I don't remember if it was my dad and mom or what, but that fly creeped me the shit out. But I don't know about the Mexico stuff. I've only been there once or twice. Here's how far outside of the U.S. I've ever been. 2 times I've been to Hawaii. Maybe one time I was at Niagara Falls and technically in Canada. Technically up here in Canada. And I think 2 times, or maybe 3, I went down to Mexico, just barely crossed the border somehow. Back when you didn't need a passport. And I went with my family to vacation. And they stole the wheels off of our car, off our rental car. I think they stole the wheels off our rental car. And I have never been any other places. Well, still haven't been to any of these places in America. I've only been to here, America, and here and there. I barely made it across to Mexico 2 or 3 times. I think I was at Niagara Falls and maybe technically in Canada once, just at Niagara Falls. And then one time I was in Hawaii when I was a kid, And one time I was in Hawaii for when my sister got married. Thank God I got to go to her wedding. And I'm right here in Virginia, in Roanoke. I got to get out of here. That fly was so gross. I should kill that fly. I should kill that bastard fly. Get away from me. I'm in Roanoke right now. I'll show you where I am. 220. 220. It's just 220. It's 581 turns into 220. I never went to, I don't know shit about Mexico other than I got pissed off that it was like, it's not that safe. People have to come up here from Mexico to avoid the crime sometimes. Fuck does it say a building? It's a home. It's a residential home. Crazy ass fly. Well, this is where I am now. It's not showing the home. I gotta go home. Wiping the screen off. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. That was a tour of the neighborhoods of where you can live in Los Angeles from my place in Roanoke, Virginia. I'm selling my house. I'm probably going to move there because I have to work and pay my bills, even though this is the most beautiful mountain I've ever been to on earth. This is the most beautiful place I've ever been to on earth. There are no people here, maybe for miles. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. So I'm going to go. Praise God. Praise Jesus. Believe in God and Jesus, you'll be saved. I'm exhausted right now. I'm going to go home. I had to stay away from my house while they're painting. Well, they're sanding first and doing some other work and painting the trim. I'm going to check on that, see how it looks. Bye. Praise God. Praise Jesus. This is John Birmingham. Okay. Bye.